Hello, Lidudumalingani. What a pleasure to have you on this talk today for our, let's say, talk series of the African Book Festival. How are you today?
Good, very good. I apologize for the background, but this bars and this bare wall is what you're getting today, unfortunately.
Oh, I love it actually. It's a little bit of a change to my just simply white walls. So I like it. I like it. It makes clear that I'm here, you are there. So tell me, anything good happened today?
I mean, not much. It's just kind of working at the television show that I write for, um, and then trying to, I guess, kind of figure out how the festival is going to work and give it a little bit of thought about who's coming to the festival and the panels and all of the festival work that is currently going on.
Yes, yes, yes. The life of a curator, of the curator of the African Book Festival. I hope that later during our conversation, I will get you to maybe name one or two names or ideas, but we'll see about that. So, first of all, you are working from Joburg or Johannesburg, am I right?
I mean, I live and work in Johannesburg. Yeah.
So tell me, what is the beauty, what is the magic about this city? I hear it accommodates a lot of creativity. It's a artistic and creative hub.
Yeah. I mean, I guess, yeah, I mean, I guess any city has its kind of beauty, and I think Johannesburg's beauty is the people in the city. It's the different people in the city and how they go about their everyday life. And so part of my love for the city is not so much for the city as an idea, but it's the city as a home to people and or as as a home that other people have or people are trying to make it a home. And so that's pretty much what I like about the city. I like the people, like the different people in the city.
You like different people. All right, very spontaneously, if you have to come up with three things that you associate with Johannesburg, regardless of what would they be?
Uh, yeah. I mean, one is I guess is hustling. There's a certain sense that people are every day trying to make their dreams come true. Every day trying to make sure their dreams, I guess, don't kind of become a nightmare or a myth or they're trying to capture those dreams. And the other thing about it, I guess, is there's always different places to go to in Johannesburg. There's always like a kind of an interesting, yeah, there's like depending on what you like, you can always find something to do. And it seems that, there's always a kind of growth of a little coffee shop opening up or a little gallery opening up in a different place. Kind of like a nice restaurant that you can go sit at and work or go and read or meet friends. And so in that sense, I think I love that. And also I love the fact that I guess because it's such a metropolitan city, it's such a kind of a working city. There's opportunities for people to kind of work or to kind of create. And I think, as a writer and a photographer, that's incredibly important to kind of be in a space where you feel that the ecosystem is conducive to what you're trying to do.
The ecosystem you just mentioned, because I was just wondering if you would describe, what do you think, in your opinion, what attracts artists, photographers, writers, you name it, particularly to South Africa, as opposed to other cities in South Africa?
Attract them to Johannesburg.
Johannesburg, that's what I meant, correct.
I mean, yeah. I mean, look, South Africa is a historically racially divided country, and I think Johannesburg, in kind of all the close to Cape Town, offers a kind of far more diverse uh, collaborations and working people that you can kind of work with or kind of interact with in the everyday, and Johannesburg offers that. And so for me, it works as a city for me because it's the kind of city that it seems like it accommodates everyone. There's a certain sense that it welcomes all kind of creators from all different kind of colors and genders, and that I really appreciate.
Cool, cool, cool. So I was wondering if you had to choose a different city to live in other than Johannesburg, where else would that be?
I mean, I'm compelled to say Berlin, right? So I
Oh, you could also say Hamburg
can't.
or Accra
Yeah, yeah. Um,
or Tokyo.
I, I mean, look, uh, Tokyo is probably one of my favorite cities, and so I'll choose it purely based on some kind of naive romanticizing Tokyo and say Tokyo would be that city. I don't know if it would ever
Wow.
work for me as a black right-hand photographer, but I mean, look, we're just dreaming here, so we'll do it.
Exactly. I was just like, if you could just choose any random thing. So I just mentioned
Mhm.
Tokyo or put it in just like this. But then, funny enough, it is Tokyo. Then, yeah, very nice, very nice. It's a nice city I've been to, so I get the fascination about it definitely.
Mhm.
So tell me, so you mentioned already the photographer in you. So yeah, take us a bit on the journey as a photographer for you. What do you like to photograph? What are your motives?
Yeah, I mean, geez, this is the difficult question, I guess, because now I have to think about it,
Okay,
which
wait.
I
Then let me ask a
don't.
more precise question. Do you also do portrait photographing?
Yeah, I mean, I photograph pretty much anything. I photograph people. I photograph architecture. I photograph landscape. I photograph furniture. I photograph all kinds of things. You know, I think for me, the thing that draws me into photographs is always the kind of beauty and stillness in photography, or in the moment, not so much in photography, but the beauty and the stillness of a moment. And I think that's, I mean, wherever I get that, I'll photograph. It doesn't matter what it is. It could be a single pole in the middle of a white landscape. I find that very beautiful. I find the stillness of moments to be what I'm always after when I'm making photographs.
All right. So I was wondering, sometimes I think there's this intentional thought that you plan to take photographs, so you go with your camera. But if you, for instance, are just walking through the city or have somewhere to go and you capture that kind of stillness that you like, do you take out your phone and take a picture instead if you don't have your camera with you?
No, I mean, I mean, yeah, I guess our ideas of what we do as writers, as cultural activists, or as cultural practitioners changes over time, and I think mine has certainly changed over the last few years. Where before, I think I always thought I needed to have my camera with me and make photographs of everything I see, and now I feel a little bit more like if a moment speaks to me, or if a building or there's a photograph that I feel like I need to make. Um, I'm far more receptive of that. I can come back the next day now in my photography career that I don't have to make the photograph at that particular moment. And even when it's a kind of like uh, a moment that's kind of moving, right? That by the time I come back tomorrow, I wouldn't have the scene. I'm also welcoming of the idea that not everything needs to be photographed, and I think you have to make the photograph when everything is falling into place. And if it hasn't, then maybe the photograph shouldn't be made. And so I don't. I mean I photograph on my phone as anyone with a phone does, but I certainly don't think of it as a kind of that I can't return to that moment with whatever camera I choose to go make that photograph.
And when you photograph, as you say, you just beautifully capture the way or your philosophy behind it. That sometimes if it's not working or if the circumstances are not ideal, then maybe it shouldn't be. So are you also thinking in terms of project, as in do you sometimes have a theme in mind where you feel it's drawing you to, like, I don't know, if I would say I like to photograph food, so I'm going to photograph what I eat for the next week. How is it with you? Do you have particularly projects or something that you did or planned or are doing?
I mean, so I'm currently working on a project which I will be exhibiting during the festival in Berlin. It's called Young City. It's a photographic study of Johannesburg, and I guess it's a photographic study of how the city and the world come together to be the city called Johannesburg. I mean, Johannesburg has over 10 million trees that were planted for I guess this means for the city to kind of have the residents of the city have some places of refuge because cities can be too much and we all need to kind of escape and hear birds chip away and kind of breathe fresh air and listen to nothing. And so the project is trying to study how the wild and the city exist together and if they in fact do exist together and what is that negotiation for the wild and the city? Which one sometimes has to give way for the other to shine and for the other one? And at what point does the wild destroy the city and what point does the city destroy the wild? And so that's what the project is about. And I'm making photographs about that at the moment. And it's all I can think about. And so that's the only answer you're going to get from me. I'm not thinking about anything else.
No, that's actually fine.
Single-minded as I always am. So.
I call it focused. So tell me, if you say wild and how it is, how Johannesburg has some sort of wild and buzzing and maybe chaotic side to it, are you a person who sometimes need to get away and go out and go to other places to have a bit of a calm, or are you a through and through city boy?
I grew up in the villages, and so landscape and the outside and the sense of freedom and the never-ending sight is something that I completely treasure. But I'm also, kind of to a large extent very lazy, and so I have to constantly kind of either guilt trip myself to leave my house and go to the wild, or I kind of have to anxiety have to take over me, and then I'm forced to leave my house. And I should be doing a lot more for sure. But I mean, I guess there's also something about cities that we work in cities, and so it feels like we're always working. And so I try to take time to go do these things, and hopefully this project is allowing me to do that because then I'm now kind of exploring places that I never saw. Some of them are just down from my house, and I'm just like, should have gotten out sooner. But here we are now. So
Yeah. Well, then that's great. Good luck with this. I hope your plans to go out more will definitely. I think like you have a good project to support you with that goal. So
thank you very much.
speaking of your next motivation, ambition, passion, the writing, and maybe also the reading. I think sometimes it goes hand in hand. So the writing part. Maybe an easy question. Where do you prefer to write? Are you a home writer at your desk? Would you also sometimes go out to a favorite coffee spot?
I do a combination of both. I mean, I think I'm perhaps 51% a home writer, and then and then I go out the other 59 to kind of to work at coffee shops. But it depends on what I'm writing. If I'm writing something that needs me to sit and like do some thinking, I do. But if I'm trying to kind of get out a draft that's not very polished, and then I'll go to a coffee shop because of the noises of the coffee shop is also it's kind of nice to have that go on in your brain while you try to figure out what these damn characters are doing or what they want to do, and so I do both. I do both. Yeah.
What do you order when you're in the coffee shop? What do you order when
Order
you're in the coffee shop?
order a flat white. Wish I was ordering beer, but coffee shops have of a kind of hate relationship with beer. So
I like to order a flat white as well, and I love going to coffee shops too. I take my laptop and then pretend to be doing very sort of creative work, but actually I don't. I just
do
carry
you
my
read from coffee
laptop.
shops?
Sorry?
Do you read from coffee shops?
Sometimes, but I'd rather just sit there, look fancy, and hope interesting, creative people will talk to me so that I can exchange ideas. So
It's a
I'll
good
be the
plan.
person
It's
and
a good
say,
plan.
"Hey, are you a writer?"
Yeah,
And you were like,
good
"Oh my
plan.
God, I
Good
came to
plan.
find my peace of mind."
And now I'm being disturbed.
Yes, sort of a thing. And in terms of reading, how is it? Like when you're in a busy writing phase, do you actually have time to sit down or to take a bath or to go to a park and read a few pages, or do you rather say, "Oh no, a magazine will do it," or not at all? Do you have phases?
Yeah. I mean, I try to read all the time. I think, and it doesn't matter what I'm reading from here. I have way too many interests and way too many things I'd like to read about, and so I'm always kind of. I mean, the writing is constant, and then the reading kind of it moves from novels to nonfiction to magazines to pamphlets to all kind of things. Like, to photography books to books about art, books about pottery, books about architecture, books about landscape and history. And so, yeah, I just go,
All over.
yeah, yeah, it's all over. Yeah, that's how to put it.
So basically, when you read, let's say, fictional stories or maybe poems or something, are you the person who gets really deeply moved? Do you cry if you read something very sad, or depending on if you're in public or not?
Yeah, I mean, I only read happy things. I don't have time for sad stories, to be honest. I try to. Nah, I'm joking. I don't. I mean, I do. I mean, I do get emotional when I read. You know, but my thing about, I guess, the thing that seems to be the thing for me is that I'm completely a fan of beautiful writing, and so if I read something beautiful, I'm probably going to be, reading it again later that same day, or I'm probably going to be finding out who this author is and what else have they written and trying to get those books. And then it just becomes a rabbit hole of just finding this author's work and every interview that they've done, every YouTube video that exists, every podcast they've been on. Yeah, I mean, that's how it happens to me, yeah.
Cool, cool, cool. So in all this, because I can hear, I can tell you're quite busy, engaged with a lot of projects, and then in a way, ideas are probably flowing around. So I'm a bit curious to find out a little bit about, yeah, the African Book Festival in Berlin. Like, as in, how excited are you to come to
Super,
Berlin?
super excited. I am. Yeah, I mean, also there's like the issue of time, and I look at the months, and it's just like this thing is happening in a few months, and so I'm super, super excited, and I think it's going to be an incredible festival. Not because I'm the curator, because I think the people that I'm trying to gather to come to the festival, the kind of writers and the kind of poets and the kind of there's going to be DJs and the kind of performances and the kind of films that I'm trying to schedule during the festival. Far more than I could ever hope for. I think the incredible works of literature and music and arts and films and photography. So it's going to be exciting, and there's so much going on in it that it has something for everyone. It has a little something for you know for everyone who's interested in the arts.
Oh, that sounds really interesting because obviously, when you hear book festival, you think it's mainly about books, but then I like how you're planning a kind of 360 experience that touches upon different tastes and likes, and yes, so I can really
I
tell
mean,
that.
it's also a selfish book festival for me because these are the things I'm interested in, and so I'm doing a book festival for myself and asking everyone else to help me make it for everyone else. So I'm gonna be the happiest person to be in that book festival. So
Perfect. Then
Look,
you
you
might end
know,
up being dancing wildly out of joy. Careful.
I mean, it's never happened before, but there's always a first time for everything.
Exactly, that's what I say too. So I would be very, very delighted to see you premiere and launch your newly developed skills at this book
Look,
festival.
like,
It's going to be
I
legendary.
don't want to commit to any dancing in case I don't do it. It would be a surprise if it happens.
Good. We love surprises in Berlin, don't we? Oh, lovely. It was actually one more thing. The headliner. I think you can say one or two things about a headliner at least.
Yeah, I mean, so we have an amazing headliner. We couldn't have gotten far more, not just I mean, accomplished, I guess, accomplished, but also a kind of a person who's opened doors for a lot of writers in the African continent, and so seems befitting for the theme of the festival, which is looking at, I guess, in some way, three generations of writing from the African continent, and looking at from yesterday, and looking at people writing today, and looking at people who are writing a kind of future, right? A kind of writing Africa as a kind of existing in the future, and that person is Margaret Busby, who is who's a publisher, who is more than anything a kind of, yeah, kind of just an incredible human being who's done so much for African literature, and who's done so much for African women writing. And so, and super excited by that. And I was reading a article that Brittle Paper did, which is wonderful to see, and I just could not believe it. It's like this is happening. This is
So,
who
so exciting, so exciting. And you know her personally, don't you? Or at least you've met.
I I do, but I'm known to have a tendency of meeting people once and thinking now we are best friends, and so I don't want to go there. But I've met her. I've met her 2016. I met Margaret Busby, and in fact we sat at the same table during the Kind Prize, and so we kind of spent like from any evening into the nights just sitting and talking and whispering and passing each other, I don't know, English scones and tea and whatever else was on the tables. It was nice, and we got a chance to speak a little bit about it when I sent the email to ask her to be the headliner, and she was like, "Hey, haven't really spoken since 2016, and now we're going to be hanging out in Berlin and reminiscing about old times and thinking about the future."
That sounds great. Wasn't that also the day where you happened to win an award yourself? Or is it my memory that is confusing me slightly?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it
Could
was
have
today.
been. There could have
I
been
mean,
something like that, right?
if we look back in the past, we might find a moment like that.
Where you,
Which
the award
which is
winning
yeah, which is
Lidudumalingani.
amazing, yeah, because I mean, you win this award and you're sitting with Margaret Busby in the same table, and the award gets handed over to you by one of your favorite writers, Ben Okri. So it is in some way kind of like a perfect night.
Oh wow, it sounds indeed. I'm getting excited only by the sound of it, and I feel like how he kind of almost omit that little detail. Wow, wow, humbleness. My goodness, get another level here. So, but then either way, don't count on me to be as humble about you in Berlin. I'll be saying everything as proudly as I can when you get to Berlin. So it's either you tell yourself or I will do it. And then it will be a long narration about your efforts, all your achievements, accomplishments for the nation.
I mean, look, there'll be some really amazing authors there. I'm probably no one is gonna look at me.
You better work hard. Lovely. Lidudu, thank you so much. I'm sure we will have another talk soon again or more closer to the festival. So have a wonderful evening. Yes, it's evening in Johannesburg. So I shall see you soon and thank you so much. Take care.
Thank you very much. And we managed to beat the sun.
Yes,
There's
indeed, I
still some
needed
light
it.
left, so I can gather my things and go back into the house. So thank you so much, and thank you for again for speaking to me about the festival, and thank you for being prepared to do this again and to promote the festival. And I'm excited to for the talks that you'll be doing with all the authors that we're trying to line up for you to talk to every first of each month. And people can also then get to kind of see the people that are coming to the festival and get excited as I've been for the last few months.
Yes, me too. I'm looking very much forward to it. So take care.
Thank
Bye
you.
bye and good night.